Hello, welcome back again. My name is Dr. George Mochocki. I am a adjunct instructor, a contractor for Harper College. It's a community college in northern Cook County in Illinois. Today, because this class is fully online or a blended class, and this is a supplemental information to our intense discussion in the classroom. So we're gonna. You already read the book. The author did easy reading, good reading, a lot of information. We've had our discussions within the classroom, or will be having discussions in the classroom. What I want to emphasize real quickly before I go into this chapter overview, make sure you start utilizing the vocabulary and concepts that are being presented to you in this course. That's how other individuals, when they talk to you, other sports marketing or marketing individuals talk to you, we have that same language. It gives you credibility, gives you a perception of understanding the subject matter. So when you're talking, you could be looked at as an expert. All right? So follow the mind maps, all printable. These are concept maps I utilize. You usually have one or two tiers. I'm going to go through this. I'm not going to go into too much detail. We've done that in our discussion board. This is a quick overview, a summarization, what you should have remembered. If not, write your notes down. Okay, so a quick overview on this class. Okay, basically, we're going to talk about consumer behavior. Now, Harper College also offers a full course on consumer behavior. So, and that's also part of the marketing mix, understanding the customer, other than their demographics, age, income, and everything else. You're looking at the psychological aspect of why people like a certain sport, or a certain, in this case, for instance, it's marketing, sports marketing, enjoy a certain sport over another one. The model of a consumer behavior, real quickly, psychological factor, I covered that, external forces influence it. Remember, your base or your target customers, they change, just like we change. We used to be younger, I'm a little bit older now, put on a little weight, but your market also changed. To be an effective sports marketer, you have to see the trends and the change and the changes, and that's was discussed thoroughly within our discussion boards or in the reading. Describe the decision-making process. This is similar to any decision-making process. What's the problem? And here, when you look at sports marketing, it could be a problem how to bring customers in. But if we're looking at consumers, why do consumers or spectators as consumers enjoy your sports over the other one? It's escape of reality. Remember, sports marketing is falls underneath the entertainment aspect of marketing. I watch certain shows, I watch certain videos, I play certain games. It's an escape. It's something that I could step aside, and that is a good stress reliever. So why? So I have to understand this decision-making process, why they would select my sport that I am trying to market and brand over my competitor, or even in the same category. Why would they select my team over another team? I'm from Chicago, so it's the Bears. Some people are on the cuff, because where I'm located at is between Wisconsin and Illinois. They may be for the Packers. But both of them are still underneath the NFL umbrella. Some people may never watch football, maybe occasionally, as, for lack of better words, more of a spectator. Others are very loyal fans into that sport, and that's the only thing they would really watch. They'd never miss it. They probably will watch their sports more than they would go to their house of worship, for lack of better words. Okay? Understand different types of customer decision making. Again, you have to understand the decision making process and why they make those decisions and for what rationale, and situational factors that then influence participant decision making. Remember, I'm a spectator. That means I'm not actually in shape to do the sport, but I like watching certain things. I may like hockey, and I don't ice skate. But I just like the intense, the competition, for whatever reason. Something inside of me, I love that sport. Okay? Blackhawks, Chicago. Okay, so now we have that, so let's close that off. And now, again, we're going to go participants as consumer behaviors. And I'll try to read along here. Remember, Your book is more for the resources. I'm covering this over. Add in, write it with your hand. So define as actions performed when searching for. Remember, I got participants participating in evaluating sports activity that consumers feel they'll satisfy their need. Again, what's my need? Is to escape or to feel part of something, and it's relaxing. For some people, that's how they relieve their stress. You see them yelling, you go, but that's their whole spirit, soul, and mind is involved in that. Okay, sports participants constitute a large, growing number. Okay, now I got my chapters mixed up. We're here talking about last chapter of Spectators. Here's participants. These are people that are actually in the that do it either. If I watch golf, I also play golf. If I watch football, I also participate in the sport. If I watch people doing for like archery, I'm also an archer. If I watch somebody at a firing range, a hunter for lack of a better word, I also like to hunt. Do you see what I mean? So I'm more of a participant, different than the spectator that is out there looking at that. Well, it's kind of good. It worked out well because now I could clarify that. I just had to, I teach a lot of these classes. I just remember I'm in a participation as consumers. Okay, now. Sports marketers, why they participate, and that could be just like I like 16-inch softball. I grew up in Chicago. 16 is a real big ball. In Chicago, you don't have all you need is a bat and a ball, and hopefully not too many windows, and you could go pick up the game. For some of the other sports, I had to have equipment. I had to, same thing. Why basketball is so prevalent in more of in the city. All I need is to have a hoop, a garbage can, anything else, and I could throw the basketball and I could play the game. I don't have to have all kind of equipment. Ice skating or hockey, I got to have a set of skates and ice. Golf, I got to have this. I got to be very limited into why. But I'm not saying that's wrong. You just have to understand why these. Your participants that you're trying to target participate in certain sports. What benefits for the participation are for the consumer? Some, again, relieving stress, weight, or whatever, exercise. When, where, and how often do consumers participate in the sport? This is important, not only that they go to the stadium or watch the stadium, that they could buy some of the products. I may be a sports marketer for a sports clothing shop. I may be a sports marketer for a sports bar, for lack of better words. Entertainment, bring people in, but what's the, so I got the big high definition television. These are people that participate, and they're watching the sport to say, how could I take what these athletes, these fine-tuned athletes, the best of the best, are utilizing, or how did they do it, and could I utilize maybe the same play or do something similar to that? Okay, now here's a listing from the book, and it's on page 1 through the. Let me just make this a little bit bigger here for you guys. And this is right out of your book. Look, exercise, walking. A lot of people walk, and I think there's like 54 or something, 51. This is just a quick example, and total population that swimming, aerobic, running, jogging, hiking, workout, fishing. Fishing is a nice way of meditating, for lack of better words. Basketball, billiards. I like to play pool. I grew up in the city. I got my own pool table. That's just me. I'm teaching my grandson. He's playing all the games. That's fine, playing the games and everything else. But now you have to actually concentrate and everything else, and that's where he's focusing in on that. It's another way of relieving, another competitive way. It's low impact for people of my age. Okay, target shooting, light ammunition. I'm not trying to go one way or the other. Remember, I'm a veteran, so I have no problems with people certain parts that have no problems. If you utilize target shooting, some people just do for a shotgun, for where they shoot it up and they blow it off out of the air. It's another way. Remember, anything you do has to be done with safety and the rationale why you're doing it. Same thing with archery. If you look at some of the archery, my son was going for archery. That bow is just, and some people hunt. There's nothing wrong with hunting. It's part of survival. So if I'm looking at people hunting with a bow, it's a lot more challenging, and to me, gives both whatever prey, I'm hunting a chance. You know, I'm not that good of a shot, so I've really, with a bow, barely ever hit anything. I think I've never hit anything. But some people are very accurate at that, okay? Golf, you know, hunting, boating, I like canoeing, you know, soccer. My kids are into soccer. You know, most Americans right now aren't into soccer until, like I mentioned before. But some people, you know, in high school and everything else, they participate. If we only could get a soccer player that's an American, when I say American, it doesn't make it, you know, from the U.S. coming up, that'll work well. As I mentioned before, a lot of times some of the participants, like in soccer, are from European countries or other countries that it's the game of choice, for lack of better words, and we don't have that idol that came up from the ranks, soccer. But you'll see that very shortly, and that'll change the whole thing. So from a sports marketing perspective, you know, here we call the football. Outside the U.S., soccer is called football. Is that another mean to transfer over? So if people are thinking that the NFL, because of head injuries or whatever, is too dangerous for our kids growing up, is soccer going to be an alternative replacement to that sport? You know, oh no, we're all football fans. My age, Generation Z, Generation Y, coming in, Generation Mill, you basically have a different perception on what they're exposed to. They may not like football. They may like soccer more. So from a sports marketing, remember, you have to look at what we talked before, what's changing, okay? Okay, so now let me just close this off for you. And let's see, consumer behavior. Okay, now this one here, I'm going to go with the model. This is in the book. Instead of going through this, I got them all broken down. I opened this up for you because some people do like to write the notes, okay? So this is everything for the notes, but let's go into the model. The model is a little more explanatory, easier. But I understand. So if you're looking at the concept map that you printed out in my course, or if other instructor provides some of my materials, we share it at Harper College. We're business majors and marketing majors. What we understand is that if I invented something or utilized something, it's okay to share it. And that's what we're doing. You already have the book from the author, so he or the publisher gets their, for lack of better words, you pay for the content. So I'm using this as a supplement. You already have all that material. So let's look at this pic. And this is basically the whole class right here. I mean, the whole chapter. And I'm going to try to keep this under a half an hour. Okay, you have internal factors. Let me go this. And for those of you who just tuned in the first time on YouTube, I'm live. I do very, very little editing. This is what you get from me in the classroom. So if I make some errors, I come back. That's okay. That's what makes this course or online classes or in a discussion board realistic instead of reading off of a script. I try to respond to you. Okay, internal factors. My own personality, my motivation, learning, perceptions, and attitudes towards sports. External, the culture. You know, certain cultures outside the U.S., soccer is the number one. It's like a football for here or baseball in the U.S. Social class, different classes of individuals, different social classes. You see people who write curling, or you see them horseback riding or anything else. Different sectors, different cultures, different areas, even in the same country, have a different liking because that's what you're exposed to. Okay, reference groups. Who do you relate to? I mean, your dad did it, your friends do it, your cousins, your new boyfriend or girlfriend. Basically, this is what they like. Also, oh yeah, I really like canoeing. That's how I got into canoeing. Don't tell my wife that. It was one of my previous lady friends that I ran into when I was going to college. She was more into canoeing and horseback riding. I came from the city, wasn't exposed to that. Through her, I was exposed, and I kind of like the sport now. Horseback riding, still a little intimidating. That horse is big, but that's a sport, okay? And then family and friends. So now I have these internal factors, and it makes the decision. See, decision-making process. When you're looking at the decision-making, when you're taking management and other classes, you're looking at the rational model. The rational model basically is identify the problem. So recognize a problem recognition. I don't have a problem. I just wanted to lose weight. Maybe that's the problem. What activity that I could do that I enjoy and that I could be successful with? Look, at my age, could I want to climb mountains? Heck no. I'm older. I'm not going to do mountains. My son and my they love that. They're like little spiders going up. But so I want to lose weight, but I need more of a low impact. I like bicycling on a bicycle. Jogging's okay, walking's okay, but on a bike I could go so far and I could sit and coast. Depends how you plan your route. Okay, and I'm a participant and post-participant evaluation. If I do something that I'm not very, I tried different sports. I tried tennis. I tried racquetball. I love tennis over the racquetball. Racquetball is very fast-moving. You know what I mean? You don't really have to move fast because the person directs the ball. Once you're on the offense, that's the whole game. So that wasn't really my forte, but I tried it. So you see in sports, you can have people going to try it as from spectators, and they're going to try it as a participant, but sometimes they may not like it for whatever reason, their physical or just their attitude toward the sport, okay? And then situational factors, physical surroundings, social surrounding, task, time, in essence, is basically different things that I love about that, all right? Okay, so we have that, so I'm going to close that off. And now we went through that, and I think I'm going through the psychological. Now, if I look at the psychological, I'm going to go up here because usually my picture is right in here, okay? We're looking at personality. Certain personalities are tending, if I'm a rugged person or if I'm let's say rugged person, someone just bigger, larger. I would like to play football. Me, I'm a little guy. I get intimidated. These people are big. I may do something else. Okay, golf, I don't mind, but golf is a strenuous game. Hit that little ball. My goodness. I have friends that I play golf with. They are so into that golf that if I breathe or sneeze, they give me the worst look. They're mad. I'm going out there for what reason? I like the walking. I like the outside. I hit the ball fine. I don't hit the ball, no problem. But that's me. But if I'm looking at golf, I think in golf the most strangest thing is the first tee off because everyone's watching. After that, they don't really care. Some of your friends, George can't golf too good. And in sales and marketing, you don't have to try not to be better than the person you're trying to sell your product because then they'll never invite you. Remember, golf is another social activity that's utilized in business, and that's maybe my motivation. That's how I learned golf. Is because I want to go and play golf because that's how business. You never make a deal on the golf course. You get the person to talking so you kind of understand what are some of the objections or what they like or what they don't like. That's all you're doing is data information, just like you did in the chapter 1. How do I research data and get information in? And okay, so motivation, and then in here Maslow's theories. You talk about the hierarchy. Is you're not at the physiological at the bottom. You're not at the safety. You're in the third tier where we're talking about is the social interaction, and that's where a lot of sports comes into that tier. And then later on you get into competition and all that. Even after Maslow and the social, hey, you did a good job, George, or you got the intrinsic and extrinsic, somebody's trying to help you, but you see everything you're learning, I'm trying to tie into here. Okay, now your perception, and then your learning. Okay, when I look at learning, behavior, cognitive skills, again, we discussed that, and my attitudes towards the sport. We discussed in the chapters, the last thing, the NFL, the downturn in NFL, and the class responded pretty well. What's happening now, because of the hit concussions and everything else, you have a lot of parents, not only the women, the fathers, say, hey, I don't want Johnny or Susie, if they're playing that type of sports, to have any kind of injuries at that young age. So from a sports marketing, okay, I can see that's it's slowing down. From a manufacturer that's selling helmets, that's bad for business. So how do I take this information and turn something that may be a negative, and I understand that, or a safety issue, according to Maslow, and now I have a helmet that has cushion, that has electronics, that actually tells you how much impact, too much impact, you have to go, maybe check this out because you got hit too hard. Did you see me? So everything's in there. I'm trying to overcome something that is bringing my industry down and bring it back up. Okay, I've got to move along here. And again, you've got hierarchy, and we've got Maslow's. Here's the pick. Remember, and we discussed that. I discussed in all of them. Are you okay? So here, remember, forget this. And the security I said forget that. The helmet would be a security issue. And then, belonging, and then recognition. Hey, I'm the number one team player. The team can't do it. Even if you're playing bowling. Some people on the bowl, like I bowl all right, but just everyone always strike. So they're the best. Do you see what I mean? And then it reaches one's fullest potential. And that's when you get into the major leagues, for lack of better words. Okay? And you've had that in other classes. So when you look at Maslow, when I teach management, Maslow is basically how to motivate them. Now I take the same thing and I turn it into the marketing. And now I'm turning it into sports marketing. So I go through the same process that most human beings go through intellectually, the critical thinking, which sport is right for me. And that's also, if you go into sports that may be very energetic, make sure you always consult with your physician. I'm not trying to, I figure you're taking this class, you're adults, but I just want to just throw that in, okay? Okay, now, model attitude formation. And here's the model. I'm going to go with this again. You've got all these. I'm going to open these up because people like to write the notes in here. You know what I mean? And they're basically my concept maps is what you've already have in the book. So let me just open up. I'm a person, sports marketing. You could do all the lecturing, all the word, talking, but for the lack of better words, what happens is, if you remember in marketing, I'm just throw that, if you could control or stimulate all the senses, sight, touching, hearing, smell, you know what I mean, when you're in the game, you smell that sweat of your component. Wrestling, I'm not much into wrestling, you know what I mean, because that's too tight, I smell the sweat. Don't get me wrong, class, it's just me. Do you see what I'm talking about? My attitude's a little different to that. I let it be, all right? Remember, I'm live, and sometimes I'll throw us off like this to catch your attention, so I'm not that, I'm not reading off a script. Okay, so here's what happens. Participate in any sport, running, bowling, soccer. Initial input, cognitive beliefs about the sports. I think this is a safe sport. This is something I like. Or is it a sport for social class? Right? Golf is, as you go up, is more. I'm not saying there's a lot of people in the inner city that play golf because you've got a lot of park districts and some of that, tennis here. I'm out in the suburbs. There's a lot of park districts that have a lot of tennis courts out there. Nobody out there. You could go out there if you find someone who's got a racket and things. You could play for free. All right, but if you start going up to social class, you've got your country clubs, you have all those, okay? Affected feeling about the sports, behavioral actions towards the sports. And again, that's what I indicated with the NFL for our discussion. That the national anthem, we're not standing up. Remember, I'm just telling one thing. I always stress in marketing, if you're going to be doing any kind of social responsibility, which all business should, keep it out of the arena. Do it outside, not when I'm in there trying to enjoy and escape reality. I don't need to have any more. I'm trying to escape all that. That's why, remember, so in marketing or business, you try to, you help the community. That's part of your responsibility to be a good social responsible corporation or individual. But you try not to put it into the event where the person is actually trying to play the sports and give me your own opinion. I understand that. We all have our opinions. Think of it in business. I can't go in where if I'm working a corporate and say I disagree with this or this, because I am representing an organization. They hire me for a fact to entertain, in this case, the sport, okay? And an overall attitude. Again, remember, write this down. Some people says, could I have the notes? Research found out if you write, that's another sense. Mine is to help you get a good solid foundation. Some of you already had marketing and advertising, and now we're going into the niche part, just specifically just sports, marketing for entertainment. Others, this may be your first class, so you're going, hey, I kind of like this marketing stuff. Let me find out more, okay? Okay, model of socialization. Again, we're going to use the model, and I'm going to use this because, your author has it. I'll open this up a little. Okay? But everything I have is basically I do this here because sometimes when I do the printouts and you're writing, the model doesn't show up. It just takes up too much thing. So background, your age makes it and age basically means what have I been exposed to? Your gender, most men, I don't say because a lot of women play football or baseball and everything else. But in general, remember, I'm not stereotyping. In marketing, I don't stereotype. I basically group or generalize. A majority of my population like this. I understand there's some exceptions. When I'm looking at the exceptions, those are my niches. You see what I'm talking about? Everyone else is taking care of the major. How do I hit that niche? That gives me the advantage over my competition. It brings in a certain niche, and then I can hit another niche. I hit the niches that aren't oversaturated by the large companies, but they're still a niche as I'm developing my own product or anything else, or I develop a product specifically for that niche. Okay, income makes a difference. Remember in Maslow, if you're at the bottom, you can barely survive. You're not going to be buying any kind of sports equipment or going to the stadiums or as a participant. Or like when I utilized myself growing up in the city, 16 in softball and basketball. That was it. It was real quick. I get a basketball and something to throw into a hoop. Could be a garbage can, open gun. I grew up in the city. All right. And then number of siblings. Number of siblings makes a big difference because a lot of times if my brother or my sister played that sport, odds are I want to be like him or better than him or her. Okay? Socialization, friends, family, parents, teachers, media. That's what I'm trying to do here. I keep it general. Remember, in sports marketing, even though I may like the sports I indicated, my job may be in the sports. I'm a football player. I never do soccer. And all of a sudden, that's the opening. So you have to learn about that sport. And after the more you see it and you understand the rules and everything else, over time you get used to soccer. If you only got a soccer ball, no football, and then you want to do the exercise, you'll play it and say, this isn't really bad. I'm running around and doing similar things, depending what your attitude toward that sport is, depending what your family and friends are. Learning mechanism, condition, cognitives, your thinking skills, and your social ability. That it fits in. You try to do things with your friends. Your friends go bowling, you're going to end up bowling, either you're good or not, because you don't want to be outside. Remember Maslow's? You see how this all ties into marketing? I utilize that for management, how to motivate them. But now, as a marketer, I understand what stage he or she is at, okay? And then basically the outcome, the social. All right? So that's everything you have in here. Real good. Okay, so let's go core values. And again, we've got a chart here. And now, again, the charts here, I just wanted to print out because I think this is basically, there's a little bit more in the book. So read it. I'm just trying to give you a quick summary. And for some of you who are just looking at my YouTube, remember I'm still teaching, and basically what I'm trying to do is pay off my student loans. And that's the environment. What happened in the environment? That just happened. You come in here, and so you do it. But I still enjoy the teaching. Remember, I started teaching those because this may be the first time you ever saw me. I started teaching when I was working for ComEd as a public utility, and management had to be active within the community. And somebody said, hey, why don't you just go start teaching the classes? And after a while, I said, I kind of enjoyed it. Teaching, what's teaching? It's no different than consulting. Consulting, I'm teaching businesses how to be successful. Look out for these areas. It's still up to them. Same thing when I have, I'm a person, if you have a personal trainer, he or she could tell you everything you want to do, but you're the one who have to be able to implement it. Can't blame him or her, or you just don't have the ability. But then that's where your trainer is going to say, okay, you just don't hit right. Just okay, hold the thing this way, and they'll try to help you accommodate your own limitations, so they're not a limitation, but end up as a strength. Okay, and so look, American core is achievement, activity, efficiency, partiality, processes. Remember, English is second language, and I'm a little dyslexic, so if I pronounce the words wrong, Dr. George, I know them, read them. Those of you who speak another language, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Individual. We're all by ourselves, but sports basically bring people to work as a team. I could be the best athlete in the world, and I don't want to give a shot because he or she's closer because I'm hogging it because it's only about me. That's not what sports is about. That's why a lot of individuals, from a company perspective, you're playing sports, you know how to work as a team, and you share and everything else. Freedom, external humanism, charity, all those, a sense of accomplishment, being himself, democratic, overcoming adversity, supporting, giving to others, looking. All right, so that kind of makes sense. So you have all that. And now the situational factors, when I'm looking at physical surroundings, we talked about that in there, social surroundings, what's acceptable, time commitment, the time I have. Most of you are full-time students, working full-time, taking me online, or you're traveling. Your time is limited. So what are you going to do? A lot of people, they go do their exercising. I used to travel a lot, do their exercising, maybe go swimming, or, do walking, in a new town. So I have to adjust my activity depending on my surroundings and what's happening in the time I have in between. All right, reason for participation, and then I have everything else in here. It was just links. Remember, I want to talk about certain links. Okay, look at the links. You have to provide good links for additional references. Type of discover habitual problem solving, limited problem solving, extensive problem solving. What fuels passion for a thing? Now this one here, I don't know if I could get it bigger. I kind of like that, but let's look at it. Okay, team devotion of 40.4%, personal indulgence, turn on, all-consuming. Let's see, marketing 50,000 sports fans throughout the globe. And you can read, I think we discussed that, nostalgia, sense of belonging, part of the team, even though I can't, right, excitement and everything else. All right, so I'm not going to go more into that, and you have everything you want. So now, that is it. We've covered Chapter 5. We covered Chapter 3. Last week. So remember, in marketing, sports marketing, you have two types of customers that we're trying to get. We have our consumers or spectators, for lack of better words. They're just watching the sports and not really active in it, but they still enjoy the sport. And then we have the second group is participants as consumers. Both groups are vital to any kind of sports or any kind of a marketing perspective. I just have to know which group and what I'm doing. One group just comes and watches the show, so I sell them the hats, the little banners or whatever. I'm not making fun, please. I'm bringing a little humor into that. And the other sports, they still like to watch and everything else, but they actually go out there and they take what they're watching and they're actually participants. So I'm selling the gear. I'm selling the wearable sweatshirt that basically has technologies in there, so he knows how I'm actually swinging, and then they put in the software. Here's what you need to improve. All right. So again, my name is Dr. George Mochocki. Thank you for listening to this video. This is sports marketing offered by Harper College. It's a community college in northern Cook County, Illinois. If you're in that area, you happen to look at that, come on in. If not, go to your local community college. A lot of them do offer 1 or 2 classes in sports marketing, or take me online, and it's a little more intense with the discussions and everything else, and understanding participants as consumers. And I'll see you in our next video. They'll be coming up in Chapter 5. Thank you very much. 31 minutes. I did it under half an hour. At Harper College, real quickly before I stop, Harper College, they said you only should have 15, 20 minutes. That's the expand most consumers. That half an hour is way too long. Try to keep it 20 minutes. I keep it half an hour. You could turn off, don't turn me off. Turn off the volume or stop and come back. That's the beauty of having these lectures recorded. You learn one concept. Some people could take it all in half an hour. Some need 10, 20 minutes increment, and you have that flexibility. Okay? So I'm at 31 minutes. I'll be quiet. And thank you again for signing up for this class or looking at this video.